Are you still editing your photos with the sliders on the left and right and not getting the photos that you really want or that you've seen in person? Well, today it's time to take your photography to the next level, to ascend to being a professional, or at least make them look a little bit better. We're going to be going over a masterclass today in what's called masking. In Lightroom, masking is where you take individual parts of a photo and adjust them to how you see fit. You can go with the subject itself, the background, you can go with the sky, or you can even get more minute into the details. You can change the specific eyes just to make them pop just a little bit more, certain colors, even the actual sun itself, you can have it manipulated so it's brighter on one side of the frame and maybe darker on the other, all depending on your artistic point of view. But let's get into Lightroom and let's take a look at exactly how to do this. I'm going to walk you through step by step so that you can actually go back, take these steps, and adjust them to your photos. Let's go. Okay, so we're into our first photo. If you don't know how to get a photo here, all you have to do is find your photo in your your file folder and then drag it onto Lightroom. So the only thing that I've done with this is a photo I took at the zoo. I've done two things. I've used the remover tool, and that's just to remove some of the blotches that kind of come when you're taking pictures behind glass. And then I've cropped in just a touch, as you can see here, just to make sure that the roll threads apply and that the corner here hits the eye. So I think that's very important. But now, since we're here, we've done those two things, we're going to go to this one right here where it says masking, and we can create a new mask. So it has a couple of cool features here. You can automatically detect subject, which would be this meerkat. You could do the sky if you're doing like a landscape. You could do a background if you just want to capture everything besides the meerkat. It actually works pretty good, and I'll show you here. We'll go to select the subject, and it's going to detect this subject. Sometimes it doesn't always get it right, but as you can see here, it's created a new mask. And a new mask, it just shows it because, as you can see, it's made it red. So now we can actually adjust how we want our meerkat to look. We can make the fur kind of stand out a little bit more. We can change the temperature. We can make those colors pop with some saturation. Now, you don't want to go too crazy. Remember, you're just trying to make it more realistic and make it pop a little more. So we'll maybe do a little bit of clarity. And this is, again, totally up to what you like it to look like. Now, what I like and what you like will be two completely different things. I like to make the subject considerably sharp. As you can see here, it's just done the subject. It's not done the background at all. So if you're liking the tips so far, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As of this moment, we have 14 subscribers, but it would really help if you were to make yourself the 15th or even the 16th if the person behind you beat you. But let's get back into more tips. Now, if we want to make a new mask, we go up here to the plus sign. So we can do the background. So this just covers everything. Now you can change it exactly how you want. You can make it maybe slightly darker. You can play with it exactly how you want. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can make it maybe more of a, I like the warmer tones personally, but it might be different for everybody. See, you make it darker, you bring out the warmer tones, it really makes the subject pop. So that's the basics. Now we're going to start going over some things that maybe are a little more, not advanced, but I'll show you a few different things. So as you can see here, I've clicked on the mask itself of the meerkat right here. And then I've clicked the arrow. So now I can add things to it. So I can add the brush tool. Let's say you get a subject and it only covers half of it. The AI doesn't really detect it very well. You could take the brush and now brush over all the spots that you want to continue to do. Or you can delete that by right-clicking, or you can go to the minus tool and the brush. So let's say we are going to go way in here. It doesn't really want to. No, that's not what I want. Okay, we're just going to go closer towards the eye. So you see We're right at the meerkat's face. Now you can go click on the meerkat. You can go here. You can go remove. Let's say we want to remove the eyes from being edited. You say, why would you do that? I'll show you here in just a second. So we'll keep that highlighted. We'll keep that negative, and we're just going to continue to brush over this specific spot. So you see, it's making it clear right where the mask is, where the eye is. And you can go even further. You can scroll with your wheel to make the brush bigger or smaller. And then you just keep going around until you've decided the amount, because it's not going to just straight up erase it. It's just going to do it to a degree. And that degree can be totally up to you and how much you want. So now the eye is fully clear. So let's go into the next mask. The next mask I'm going to show you is the radial gradient, which is a fancy word for it just makes circles. So as you can see now, I'm doing it right over the eye itself. It's made a nice circle. Now you can adjust these how you want. Let's say you want a little more of an oval. You can squish it down. You can have, depending on the degree or how sharp, how much it's going to affect it, you can move this inner circle. You can drag it so it's right over, and you can adjust it exactly how you see fit, just by using these little arrows. So once that's done, now we're making a new mask right here, and we can adjust how we want the eyes to look. So the eyes, I think the eyes look maybe a little too gray. So we can, if we want, we can make the eyes darker. We can increase the sharpness of them. We can even do some clarity. So you can see, look, it's got that little catch light on it. You add the texture as well. So now the eyes are really starting to look spot on. A little bit of saturation. Don't really, personally, I don't really mess with the temperature so much. As you can see, it kind of makes a little more blue, or so maybe we'll just make it a touch warmer. Not really much though, because you know the eyes are gonna be black. You don't want it unrealistic. At least for this guy. It's gonna be totally up to your artistic interpretation. So then once we've done adjusting how we want the eyes, we'll go back to fit. So these are just little things. You can do these or not do these. It really just depends on how deep you want to get with these photos, but that's a simple one for radial gradient. So the next one we're going to teach you about is linear gradient. So this is going to be like when you're dragging it down, you're seeing it's dark over on this side, and it's gradually going lighter over to here. I like to use this personally to kind of manipulate how a sun would look. So you can see we made him a little more warm. Now we've made this area warm. So it looks like maybe the sun's kind of beaming down on him a bit, or her, or it. I mean, whatever you want. But either way. So this can adjust how temperatures look. Now you can change it. You can have it so it's like a cold look, like they're out in the, the wild and it's too cold for them, or because I like it to look warmer, you can have it so the sun's coming in. And you could change that temperature exactly how much you want. So we could have it here. You have a very nice warm day. You can even add change the contrast a little bit. Whatever you feel. I think that's starting to look great though. So now you can make as many of these masks as you want, by the way. You don't have to just do one. You could do two, you could have it go down. It's totally up to your interpretation. So now we can do different ones. We've gone over the brush, the linear. You can do a color range. So this is picking certain colors. So let's say we want, let's say the fur. I feel like this is going to go with the background a bit too much, but let's just try it out. Yeah, so it is going to. And so you can also use that brush tool like we were talking about before. You go minus, brush, make it really big. And now we're just brushing away all the extras. Because we don't want the background adjusted. We just want the meerkat. As you see, this is a better explanation. It doesn't change. It doesn't change it right away. If you make it smaller, it will be more powerful, but then you're not getting as big of an area. So we're getting into the weeds here. We're just brushing away. And you know what? We don't even need those little wisps because I don't feel like that's going to be necessary. It might even make the subject pop a little too much from the scene. You want it to be realistic, but you don't want it to look cartoonish almost. Like it's like you've photoshopped, you've just cut and pasted it onto there. So there we go. We have, as you can see, you have the red tones over here that show that we have all those highlighted. And then you can do whatever you want. You can make them have more saturation if you want. You could take away if you're trying to get a cold look. We're going after that warm look right now. You can make those specific spots clearer. So now we're getting more contrast with the actual fur itself. And that will let you adjust exactly how you want that specific color to look. And you can change. You could do the ears if you want like the darker tones to pop out. We can do that. Let's see. We'll go color range. We'll choose the ears. So we're having the blacks. Now, I will say this. It does struggle a little bit with blacks because black is very... I don't know. I honestly don't know why. Because maybe there's just too much black and it just doesn't like to actually go through and adjust it. Not sure. But in this case, it did work. I have had in the case where, or in the past, where I've tried to adjust just blacks and it won't do it. So really just try, if you are going to try and do blacks, maybe try somewhere that's not dark black, like, like night black. Try something that's maybe a little lighter tone. And maybe that could be what's going on with our meerkat. Just because there are like the eyes, we zoomed in quite a bit and it wasn't really black. It's got black, but it's like got grayish tinge on it. But I think that's good enough. We don't need to go crazy here. And so we can go down to blacks. We could crush them, make them more, we can make them stand out a bit more. And then we can also up the exposure there just a touch. So we're making the blacks kind of look more prominent while also not making them look too muddled. If you can tell what I mean. Let's go. Can we zoom in there a little bit? But yeah, it looks better. It's not exactly there, but you can see how it looks muddled and gross. Let me scale that back a bit. And that looks good. All right. So, and that's everything. You can do light range as well. Let's see here. Let's go to fit. Luminescent range. As you can see here, you're going to do the brightness and you can adjust that as well. And you can go into the weeds on exactly how you want this. But I find that with the actual, what is it called here? The linear gradient. I really like that the most to adjust the light. This is okay too. So now that we've got our subject all done, let's go into another one. We'll go into more maybe like a landscape and do the same thing. We'll adjust that. All right, so this is an older photo I've taken. This was a long time ago, so take it for what you will, but this is just an example on how you can use masking for this specific subject. So you can adjust the landscape itself, detecting it. Again, when you're auto detecting stuff, it's not the greatest, but it's going to try its best for you. And this gives a good example of exactly, how it's going to look. So as you can see, it's broken it up into different parts of the mask. We can do the ground itself and the sky itself, but let's do one just for that. Okay, the ground is good. So we want to have maybe, we could have more of a tint on the grass. And you could go in here as well. Maybe that tint doesn't work the best because as you can see, it did an okay job. It said the natural ground, but as you can tell, it's also done the bridge itself. So if you want, you could use the brush and remove this part for the bridge. You can even remove the dirt path because you're going to adjust the greens much different than you're going to do the browns. I mean, it's trying to save you time. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. So that's landscape. You could do specific objects as well, and it's going to try and detect them. Like we'll do like the bridge. Okay, it doesn't detect it, my mistake. But you can paint and show that you just want the bridge done. Let's see what happens when we go right over it. Please excuse the poor paint job. See, there we go. We got the bridge, part of the bridge. Don't let go of that mouse because it didn't get the other part. It just tried to automatically detect it, but that's okay. Now we're just adjusting the bridge all on its own. Adding maybe more shadows to it. We can tell that it is a bright day, so we can even go like this. Tell the sun's kind of coming from that way because you can tell how the light's kind of blown out over there. We can bring even the exposure just down a little bit so it's not taking away from the image with how bright that specific spot is. And then we could even do something like we could crush the blacks a little bit, change the exposure. That, see, now I was saying before, you can use another linear gradient. You can bring another one in over here. And you can bring the exposure up. So now we're getting some of the colors from over here, and we can bring in the saturation. So, I mean, this is an extreme example because we pretty well maxed it out. But as you can see, it's now bringing those colors up a bit. And we're putting clarity in. And we're dehazing. This is an old photo. I think I took this on a Canon T3i. So the amount we have to do obviously changes a bit. And there you go. So as you can see, everything's being adjusted. Masks are amazing. You could do anything that you want to adjust it. Hell, you don't even need to use eyes for radial. You could just use this path. Like, I want the path done. We're going to rotate it, bring it down. Put this path, and you can adjust it inwards. So now, look at that. We're just doing the path itself. And we can make saturation go up. And you can even go into the hues and adjust how you want the path to look. You want it to look redder, pinker. Do you want it to look closer to green? Look, there we go. We almost even removed that path. Look at that. We put some of the greens in there. All up to your artistic interpretation. And that's it. That's the end of the video. So now you've been given all the tools that if you've taken a nice photo, you'll be able to look clean and touched up and exactly how you want compared to just the old way of moving those sliders. But anyways, my name is Dylan. Thank you again for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.